So the first time I arrived in Taiwan, the taxi driver was taking us to our new apartment. He was going everywhere. He's going to charge me a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at the meter and I gave him the money and he gave me money back and said, sorry, I took you the wrong way. And I thought, oh, I've arrived in a safe, nice, honest country.
Coming into my wife's grandmother's house. And she said, oh, there's a chicken for you on the table. And I thought, that's great. And I opened the box and this head just kind of comes out. And I'm like, oh! To get the food we wanted, we would do the animal impressions. So we would, for pork, we would be like going...
Chicken. I would do chicken like this.
I'm still doing it. I'd annoyed my wife. Went into Hencheng, bought some flowers. They seemed quite cheap, quite nice. Took them down to the bar where she owns. Kind of walked down there thinking, oh, she's going to love me for this, and presented these flowers, and I bought her the tomb sweeping flowers.
Hello everyone, Amadeus here, and today I have two gentlemen from the country that's famous for fish and chips and bad weather, but also good music. So both of those musicians, it's Ian and Tim from Palm Lakes. So let's get started.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
So what's your story, guys?
We came to Asia initially touring in a rock band.
All right.
And we loved it. The tour went really, really well. We came to Taiwan 2 or 3 times. Remember on the third occasion I said, this is a place that I could live, because we were thinking of staying in Asia after the tour. And then it so happened that I met a girl who's now my wife. Yeah, and I settled here. Tim moved over to Thailand and then gave me a call one day and said, what's Taiwan like? And I said, it's fantastic. And then he came over and here we are.
Yeah, I think Taiwan has, you know, all these characteristics of like what foreigners love in Southeast Asia. It's like, you know, like the warm weather and nice views and places to go out, like waterfalls or beaches. But at the same time, Taiwan is more like, you can actually live here, you know, you don't need to worry about the healthcare or like everyday life.
Yeah, it amazed me how much there was to do in such a small place. It's easy to get around. The safety of it makes it an absolutely brilliant place for outdoor activities and for exploring.
When I was in Thailand, one of the big things they do there is, especially with foreigners, that when you get a taxi, they try to overcharge you the money. So the first time I arrived in Taiwan, the taxi driver was taking us to our new apartment where we were staying, and I fully expected him, because he was going everywhere. I was convinced he was going in the wrong direction, and I thought, he's going to charge me a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at the meter and I gave him the money and he gave me money back and said, sorry, I took you the wrong way. And I thought, oh, I've arrived in a safe, nice, honest country.
Yeah. That's. I think this is like the small things, you know. Like they had the same thing. You know, I used to live in China for a while, so you know, I did research before I supposed to go to the Shenzhen, and from Shenzhen to go to one little town next door where I'm supposed to meet people where I'm gonna work. And they say, okay, just take a taxi. And I go, okay, so how much should I expect to pay? And they say, oh, it's gonna be around 80 RMB. All right, so what I do, I go to the taxi and I say, I want to give them address, and I say, okay, I can go there. And how much? And they say, 200. And that doesn't sound like 80 to me. Okay? So I go to the second one and he's like, yeah, it's gonna be 150. And like, no, it's 80. Oh, it's not gonna be 80. It is 80. No. Okay, so I checked like 3 taxis, and the third one was like, you know, I tell him, you know, I go there, I pay you 80, and he's okay.
Yeah.
And he took me there.
Yeah.
But what I mean, it happened. That's like, why do you want this hustle every day? Right?
Yeah, that was it. It gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
You're having to keep hustling with people and.
When we were on tour, we were in China, and we were having a real problem getting from this hotel to the airport. We needed to fly out to another show. We were asking people for help. The taxi driver wasn't arriving. Then they were trying to charge us too much. And we were in the lobby of the hotel, and this really nice lady came over to us and said, excuse me, can I help you get to the airport? I can have a business where I can hire you a car and get you there, and it's going to be the correct price. And we said, yeah, that's great. oh, whereabouts are you from? She went, Taiwan.
Oh,
And we'd already been here, and we thought, there you go.
Yeah, I think so. England is pretty famous for bad weather, good music, and bad food.
Right.
And how do you feel about living in Taiwan with the food comes to that?
Well, firstly, I think the reputation for England's or Britain's bad food probably comes from a more historical perspective. Actually, the food now, especially in places like London, is pretty fantastic. But as far as the food in Taiwan goes, yeah, we like it a lot, and particularly like Aboriginal food, the boar meat,
the salted fish, the bamboo rice,
and the pot roast chicken, the whole chicken roasted in a pot.
No, this one.
You come over from England and you're just used to kind of having a plate of dinner given to you. This is what you have. And when we first came to Taiwan, there was two things. One, I was trying to get used to sharing a meal on because I would be too polite. So I would say to my wife, well, I don't really want that and I don't want that, but I could eat all of that. Maybe like all of the beef, but I didn't want to in case people thought I was rude. So she kept saying to me, no, you just, if you like it, eat it, keep eating it, and then we'll just order more.
Just replace it.
And the other thing was
food was going everywhere because
the chopstick. And the chicken I was talking about. I remember the first time coming into my wife's grandmother's house, and she said, oh, there's a chicken for you on the table, and I thought, that's great. And I opened the box and this head just kind of comes out, and I'm like, oh! And I couldn't deal with it. But now I've been here so many years, I just put on the plastic gloves and rip it apart.
Well, be a man.
Your tastes really do change, because when we first got here, quite a lot of the food was difficult for us to eat because we weren't used to it, weren't used to the different flavours. Now, when I go back to England, like you say, England's great because we have a lot of cultures within Britain. So you do get a lot of different types of food, like we were talking about.
I love Indian food, and I love you have lots of Cantonese food as well.
And just anything you want to get, you can get it, which is great. But English food, like, sorry Dan, but like my dad likes, which is meat and potatoes and things like that, can be a bit bland. And so coming back to Taiwan, you realise the food is full of flavour, which is great. I
think they're way more creative than, probably have to look deeper at all, but like in Taiwan in general, people are very into food. So I think in Western countries in general, people just eat food for nutrition. This is especially like the case in Western Europe. If you look at countries from, I don't know, Netherlands, Germany, they have good food as well, but they usually kind of look for efficiency and.
I'm a bit guilty of that. Sometimes I just eat to stay alive, rather than for pleasure.
In Taiwan, it's like almost illegal this way. It has to be tasty, it has to be delicious, it has to be fresh. Oh, this fruit is like 4 days old. Oh no, it's not fresh enough.
Right.
In Taiwan, you have very different levels of restaurant, like from very cheap ones to like very expensive ones, and sometimes even at cheap restaurants they have very good food. If you kind of don't know about this, you wouldn't walk in because maybe they have like plates that are kind of ugly, maybe the decoration, maybe there's actually mom and pop business, and the kids are studying next to you, so you would think, it's just like something, there's something dodgy about this place, but the truth is they might have the best fried rice in the whole neighborhood. Like I remember one place in Sanmin where I used to live, there was a lady doing, I think it was the best salmon fried rice ever. But when I come the first time, like my Chinese were so bad, so I didn't know how to say salmon, but I know which one to tick on the list. So I tick this one, and I just memorized that the tuna has friends. There's like one character that means friends, and I was joking to myself that salmon has shoes, and it's a similar character to shoes. So the fish with shoes is a salmon. So I pick this one always. And it's like a place you stand and then people like call, okay, this one ready, and my Chinese is very bad at the time. And I heard something, 鱼炒饭, what the? She looks at me, no. you know, and actually it was mine. You
It
know?
was, yeah.
And then like after 50 minutes I come back, you know, and like, you know, I ordered this to Tao Fan with, okay, and like she looks at this and it's like, she cooked again and then she looks and like, hey, this is yours. Like, oh, I was telling you. You know?
Yeah. When we
Chicken,
first
so cute.
arrived to get the food we wanted, we would do the animal impressions. So we would, for pork, we'd be like,
Chicken. I would do chicken like this.
I'm still
But
doing it.
I would
That's
get
what-
the chicken wing. I wouldn't get the actual.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, oh,
It's the only reason I've got the haircut, so I can go in and just be like, I know what I'm gonna eat.
How do you get a turkey then?
Gobble.
You guys lots of turkey
Living in
rice in
Jais.
Jai.
Yeah.
Very useful.
It worked.
How do you cope with the Taiwanese culture, with the cultural differences? Is there anything funny about this for you?
There's a couple. One is I love how direct Taiwanese people can be when describing things, especially appearance.
chubby one guy.
Tim has had it before where you could tell that story.
Well, yeah, I didn't realise, but I'd obviously put on a bit of weight. This was a few years ago.
Okay.
And this young lady came up to me that hadn't seen me for a while and she said, "Oh, Tim, you used to look good, but now not so good.
Yeah. now you're fat.
not attractive anymore." Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
not attractive anymore.
Yeah. So,
Is what she said.
my heart just broke.
Yeah.
No,
I was like, you're alright.
thank you very much, and I just left.
Yeah.
So another time I was buying a scooter,
Okay.
and my wife's uncle said that he had a friend that was selling a scooter. So he called him up, and his friend obviously said, "Well, how am I going to know that it's him?" So rather than saying, "Well, it's the only foreigner that's going to be coming in the next 5 minutes to look at your scooter," he said, "Oh, you'll know it's him. He's lanky with a big nose." And that's it. Which is nice.
Lanky meaning tall.
Lanky, meaning kind of gangly. And but the best one recently was I'd annoyed my wife. I did something wrong again.
He does that often.
I do that, so I thought, I know. I never buy her flowers because I think you shouldn't buy flowers too often, otherwise they don't mean anything, and you have to save them up for when you really need them.
They're getting underappreciated.
He's been very bad.
Yeah. So went into Henchang, bought some flowers. They seemed quite cheap, quite nice. Took them down to the bar where she owns. Kind of walked down there thinking, oh, she's going to love me for this, and presented these flowers, and I bought her the tomb sweeping flowers that you're supposed to. And you could see all of the people around her. Some of them thought it was hilarious. Other ones were kind of had their heads in their hands like that. And there's one guy who owns one of the other bars down there, because he knows I've been in Taiwan for a few years now.
Yeah.
He just came over to me and looked at me and went, "Ian, come on," like this. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Well, did she accept the gift?
Actually, it worked because it made her laugh.
If you have some, relationship problems, just get the stump sweeping flowers. They're cheap and they work. So
They seem to work.
yeah, maybe it's like thumb sweeping for the problems. you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the meaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to many countries around Asia, and you both pick Taiwan to live. So what are the differences, and what are the things actually that keep you here in Taiwan?
Well, I mean, firstly, obviously, the main reason was Ian met his now wife. But after travelling so extensively throughout all the countries, Vietnam, Macau, Hong Kong, Malaysia and Thailand, like I say, we realised that Taiwan was incredibly safe. We like the food, the people are great and very, very friendly, and the cost of living here is very reasonable. And I think these are the reasons why it's a great hub for us to be able to fly to Japan.
Yeah.
We really like Japan.
Yeah, it's really in the middle of Asia.
Yeah, so
There's a lot to do.
There's a lot to
We're pursuing a career as musicians, so it was important to us to be playing live, but also to be making a living writing music for movies or TV shows and all sorts of different things. And living in Taiwan, it seemed to us like you were able to take a risk with a business like that and to put some things on the line without putting everything on the line. If the business failed, we weren't going to lose everything. Because the cost of setting up the studio, getting in the equipment, even things like paying for the electricity and that kind of, it wasn't so bad. So we could take that risk, and that's what paid off, really.
That's what I think Taiwan actually has the access to, you know, like for me, like I'm in a camera business, right? So, you know, getting all the gear and stuff, it's like, it's way, I think it's very reasonably priced, you know? If you live in countries like, I don't know, you like the weather, for example, in the Philippines or, you know, like Thailand, I think that would be way more expensive to get those equipments, and they wouldn't be the same quality either.
No, it's all worked out very well from that point of view, and we're not always necessarily writing music for clients in Taiwan because the internet is also so good here.
Exactly.
So we're able to fire off music across the world and share files.
And you have to remember, we come from England, so it's 90% rain.
And
cold. So here we live in Kenting.
And
so we get this lovely weather most of the year round. So that's great for us.
Yes, you have the fast internet and great weather. What else do you need?
Right?
When people find out like what you do and, you know, like look at you, so what questions usually ask you?
Most of the time people struggle to understand a little bit about what it is we actually do. First thing is a band called Palm Lakes.
Okay.
I'm
which
sporting
is
the t-shirt.
you can buy these online. Quite keep you cool.
It's perfect for Kenting.
And that's it's like an 80s throwback band, but with a more modern production, and we're just completing an album for that now. And then the second thing is called Die Hard Productions, and that's our 9-to-5 day job. So we write music, like I said, for TV and movies, but also sometimes one-off songs for events.
Or bands or artists that really want a professional touch on their songs, then we can help them.
Can you find your music and
We can find our music on Spotify, and it's Palm Lakes. And we're on Instagram and Twitter at Palm Lakes Music. And we are
Facebook Music.
YouTube and Facebook.
Thank you very much, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.